Good morning, guys. Welcome to the second PU Tungal online classes. Okay, we are in the discussion of biomolecule. By the last class, we have completed the discussion of proteins and amino acids. Today, in today's class, we are going to discuss about the last topic of this particular chapter. As for the modified sulfurs, we are going to discuss about the nucleic acids. That is only the left turn. In the modified cell bus discussion about the vitamins, hormones and enzymes has been removed, so we are only left with the discussion of nucleic acids. Okay, let's start the discussion about the nucleic acids. Nucleic acids. Okay, basically the name itself suggests that, okay, nuclei. Okay, these are the substances that are basically present in the nuclei of cell, hence they are named as nucleic acids. Okay, if you observe, okay, every generation of each species, okay, will follow the characteristics of their ancestors. The most of the characters of the each and every generation of every species will be similar to their ancestors. Okay, that is due to these nucleic acids which are present in the chromosomes, which are located in the nucleus of the nucleus of the cell, okay, which are basically responsible for the hereditary, what we call this phenomenon of transformation of characters from one generation to the other generation will be called as heredity. Okay, so what are the responsible factor for the heredity? Okay, heredity is due to the nucleic acids. These nucleic acids are basically responsible for the heredity of the each and every species. Okay, so as you know, these are basically present in the nucleus. Okay, basically present in the chromosome. Chromosome consists this proteins and nucleic acids. Okay, now there are basically two major types of nucleic acids. One will be, okay, nucleic acids are of two types. Nucleic acids are of two types. One will be DNA, which is a major one, and other will be RNA, which we call it as deoxyribonucleic acids. Nucleic acid. The expansion of DNA will be deoxyribonucleic acid, and RNA will be ribonucleic acid. Ribonucleic acid. The only difference is presence and absence of an hydroxy group. Okay, when you deal the structure, you will come to understand what is the major difference between the RNA and DNA. Okay, you might have already studied in the biology, so I am here our point of view discussing this nucleic acids in chemistry is that we will see the chemical interpretation of this nucleic acid, what is their chemical composition, okay, how they are being formed, how they will responsible for the formation of hereditary character, and all these things will be discussed. Now let us see if you are analyzing the structural information of these nucleic acids are basically, whether it may be DNA or it may be RNA, okay, nucleic acids are basically made up of, they are the polymers of okay, nucleotides. They are the polymers of nucleotides, we call them. Okay, they are the polymers of nucleotides. This nucleic acids can also be considered as polynucleotide chain, we can call them, or they are the polymers of nucleotides. Okay, polymers means which is made by n number of repeating units. What is a repeating unit here? Nucleotide is a repeating unit. Okay, nucleotide is a repeating unit. Okay, whether it may be DNA or RNA, basically they are composed by, if you go for the chemical analysis of these nucleic acids, they basically consist of, nucleic acids are, how we come to know that with what they are made up of? If you hydrolyze any nucleic acids, they basically decomposes into, okay, polynucleotide chains. These polynucleotide chains on further hydrolysis, they will be converted into nucleotides. These nucleotides will be converted into nucleoside plus phosphoric acid, and these nucleosides will be converted into, okay, pentose sugar. Basically pentose sugar plus nitrogen containing heterocyclic bases. heterocyclic bases. This is a chemical interpretation of if you go on disintegrating the nucleic acid, either it may be DNA or RNA, what you will get, this nucleic acids are nothing but they are the polynucleotide chains. When this polynucleotide chain is disintegrated, it will be converted into nucleotides. These nucleotides on further disintegration, they will be converted into nucleoside plus phosphoric acid. This H3PO4 is called as phosphoric acid. This nucleosides on further disintegration, they will be converted into pentose sugars and nitrogen containing heterocyclic bases. So overall what we can conclude, these nucleic acids are made up of, in briefly they are made up of what they are made up of. Okay, three aspects are there. One will be pentose sugar, and other is phosphoric acid, and other one will be called as, what is this, nitrogen bases, heterocyclic nitrogen bases. This is the three main components of the nucleic acids. Okay, let us see the first aspect. What is the first aspect of the nucleic acids? Pentose sugar. What are the pentose sugar? Basically, in the carbohydrates you have already studied that. Monosaccharides are being classified into two types, aldoses and exoses. Within the aldose and exose, based on the number of carbon, they are classified into triazoses, tetraoses, pentoses. These are pentoses. Pentose means what? Sugar having 5 carbons will be called as pentose. What is the aldopentose? What can you give the examples? If you take the examples of aldopentoses, basically there are several aldopentoses such as arabinose, ribose, xylose, lysose. But among these 5 pentoses, this nucleic acids consist, RNA and DNA consist ribose sugars. What they'll consist? They consist ribose sugar. What they'll consist? Ribose sugars they contain. Ribose sugars they contains. What is the ribose sugar, beta? Here, this particular one. This is OH, H, OH. If you're talking about the pentose sugars, sorry, better take both of them on the same side only. Right? This is your first carbon, this is your second carbon, this is your third carbon, this is your fourth carbon. This is your fifth carbon. You can also write it as a CH2OH. This is your fifth carbon. This is we call beta D. Why we are calling beta? At first position hydroxy group is on the upside, so we are calling it as beta D. Beta D ribose we call it as. Beta D ribose we call it as. Or we can also call beta D ribofuranose we call it as. Another one is there, which is we call as, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what is there here? There is an hydroxy group is absent at second position, which is we call 2 deoxy ribose we call it as. This is also beta 2 deoxy ribose. This is ribose sugar, this is deoxy ribose sugar. In case of pentose sugar, if you take in RNA, this will be the sugar that is present, and in DNA this will be the sugar that is present. Deoxyribose sugar is present in DNA, hence it will be called as deoxyribose nucleic acid, and since ribose nucleic acid is present in RNA, we call it as ribose nucleic acid. Based on the sugar present. The major difference is that since an hydroxy group is absent at the second position of the pentose sugar, hence we call the sugar that is present in the DNA will be called as deoxyribose sugar. What we call them as? We call them as deoxyribose sugars. Is it clear so far? If it is clear, we will move to the next aspect, which we call it as phosphoric acid. Okay, the second important aspect of the second component of the nucleic acid is phosphoric acid. Phosphoric acid. Okay, what is the structural formula of phosphoric acid? H3PO3. If you take the structure, it will be, okay, this is the structure of phosphoric acid. Alright, now the third aspect is that nitrogen, okay, heterocyclic nitrogen bases. Nitrogen bases, simply we call it as nitrogen bases. The nitrogen bases present in nucleic acids are of two types. There are two types of nitrogen bases which are called as broadly purines and pyrimidines. What they are called? Pyrimidines. Okay, purines are bicyclic, bi-heterocyclic. What they are called? Bi-heterocyclic nitrogen bases. Bi-heterocyclic nitrogen bases are called as purines. The general structure of purine will be, the general structure of purine is, this is the general structure of purine. Okay, and monoheterocyclic nitrogen bases whose general structure will be in this manner. Okay, this will be the what do you call it as? This will be the pyrimidine structure, general pyrimidine structure. Okay, so among these purines and pyrimids, first of all, if you are talking about the purines, okay, what are purines? Purines are bicyclic nitrogen bases. There are two major purines. One will be adenine and guanine. Adenine and guanine are basically considered as purines. Okay, if you look at the structure of adenine, these structures are important. In the board point of view, these structures can be asked. This is the structure of adenine, and if you are talking about the structure of guanine, okay, right, this is the structure of guanine. Okay, if you are talking about the pyrimidines are monocyclic nitrogen bases. There are basically four pyrimidines are there. They are cytosine, okay, thiamine, okay, sorry, there are three types of pyrimidines, that is cytosine, thiamine and uracil. Okay, if you want to look at the structure of this cytosine, thiamine and uracil, okay, right, this is the structure of cytosine, and if you want to look at the structure of this is the structure of thiamine. If you want to look at the structure of this is the structure of uracil. Okay, the important aspect is that cytosine and thiamine are present in DNA, okay, whereas cytosine and uracil are present in RNA. This is the difference. That means, okay, this is your uracil which is present in RNA, but this is absent in DNA. This will be absent in DNA. If you are talking about thiamine, Okay, this is present in DNA. This is present in DNA and absent in RNA. This is present in both RNA and DNA. Cytosine will be present in both RNA and as well as DNA. Okay, cytosine will be present in both RNA as well as DNA. Sorry guys, one small change. This will be the uracil and this will be the thiamine. Okay, a small change. In thiamine, CH3 group will be there. In uracil, CH3 group will be absent. Okay, so basically there are the nitrogen bases that are present in the nucleic acids are broadly classified into two types based on the number of rings present. Okay, two membered rings are called as purines and one membered rings are called as pyrimidines. Okay, if you are talking about the purines, there are two purines, one will be adenine and one will be guanine. These are the structures. And if you are talking about the pyrimidines, these are the monocyclic nitrogen bases. There are three types of pyrimidines. One is cytosine, other will be thiamine and other will be uracil. Okay, so when it comes to the cytosine, it will be present in both RNA and DNA. Thiamine will be present in DNA and uracil will be present in RNA. Okay, this is about the nitrogen bases. Hope it is clear so far. Now, we will see the nucleosides. Nucleosides means nucleosides. Okay, when this nitrogen base combines with a pentose sugar, that forms a nucleoside. Basically, see, this is your pentose sugar. If you are talking about RNA, it will contain ribose pentose sugar. This is the first position, this is second position, this is third position, and this is the fifth position, fourth and fifth. Okay. Now, suppose what happens here, if you are treating with any base, let me take a base such as if you are treating with a nitrogen base, I will take any nitrogen base. If I treat with any nitrogen base, basically what happens here, this nitrogen base will combine at the first position, okay. This is your first position, second, third as well as fourth and fifth positions. This is we call nucleoside. What do you call it as? Nucleoside you call it as. Suppose since I have taken it as a ribose sugar, this will be what? Okay, this will be a nucleoside which is present in RNA. I may also take a deoxyribose sugar. If I take a ribose sugar, for example, here I will take a deoxyribose sugar. This is the deoxyribose. This linkage is important. The linkage is taking place between the first position of the nitrogen base is getting attacked at the first position of the pentose sugar. Okay, at the first carbon is getting attacked. Here I have taken this is a deoxy 2-deoxy beta 2-deoxy ribose sugar. Okay, if you are treating this with, I will treat this with let me treat it with this is your adenine. You can remove this water from here, right? What happens here? You will get what you will get, beta? this is your adenosine. What do you call it as? Adenosine you call it as. Okay. In the similar manner, if I take a guanine here, what it will form? It will form here directly I am writing it as G. Okay. What it will form? This will be your, if you place an hydroxy group at second position, that will become ribose. If you ignore this, if you omit this hydroxy group at second position, that will be a deoxyribose sugar, which will be part of DNA. If it retains hydroxy group at second position, that will be a part of RNA. So this will be called, this we will call as, if I take it as guanine, so what it will be called? Guanosine it will be called. Guanosine it will be called. Okay, guanoside or guanosine it will be called. This is we call adenoside or adenosine. Okay, this will be called guanosine or guanoside. In place of this, if I take a thiamine, what it will form? It will form a nucleoside which will be, okay, here it will be T. This we will call as, what do you call? Thymidine we call it as. This we call thymidine we call it as. Okay, suppose if you are keeping this as cytosine, what I will get here? Here I will get a C. Okay, this will be, I am not writing the base structure every time, it becomes complicated. All that I wanted to tell you that how the base is getting linking into the pentose sugar. This is I wanted to discuss here. This will be called as cytidine it will be called. These are nucleosides. Okay, if you are going for the RNA, can you write uridine here with the 2-deoxy? You cannot write the uridine because uracil is not a part of DNA. Okay, this is your nucleosides. If you are talking about the nucleotides, okay, let us see the nucleotides. What is meant by the nucleotides? If it is clear so far. Nucleotide. Okay, when this nucleoside combines with H3PO4, the linkage takes place at 5' position. Where the linkage takes place? At the C5 carbon, the linkage takes place. C5 linkage. Previous it was C1 linkage. This will be called nucleotide. What we call it as? Nucleotide we call it as. Let me take for example. Suppose if you are taking, I will take a nitrogen nucleoside. Okay, here I am taking my first carbon. This is first carbon, second carbon, third carbon. Okay, this will be fourth carbon and this will be fifth carbon. Here I will take A. What does this mean? This will be adenoside. What it will be? This will be adenosine or adenoside we can call it as. Okay, it's a nucleoside. Suppose if you are treating this with, what is this? If you are treating this with phosphoric acid, H3PO4, okay, it will be converted into, this will be the first position. Okay, here you have hydroxy group, here also you have the hydroxy group. I am taking 2-deoxy. Okay, first position, second position, third position, fourth position and fifth position. At fifth position, what you will get? You will get a, this is we call as adenosine monophosphate we call it as. What we call it as? Adenosine monophosphate we call it as. This is a nucleotide. Suppose if here I take a, what I take here? I will take a guanosine here. Okay, what it will become? H3PO4. It will become, what it will become beta? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This we call guanosine monophosphate, which we call it as AMP we call it as. Adenosine monophosphate we call it as. This is we call phosphodiester. This is we call phosphoester linkage we call it as. Phosphoester linkage. This is we call GMP. This is a nucleotide here. Okay, so like this you can write a thymidine monophosphate. Okay, cytidine monophosphate. Okay, uracil monophosphate. If you just go on writing the Okay, this is the nucleotide. A nucleotide is the repeating unit of polynucleotide chain. DNA, RNA are polynucleotide chains. So what is the repeating unit of nucleic acids? Nucleotide is a repeating unit. Okay, so here one nucleotide will be connected to the other nucleotide through what happens? The third position it will be connected. Suppose if I connect these two, if I connect this, let me write this here what I have taken here. Here I have taken okay. Basically what it has to be? It has to be like this. It has to be like this. Okay. What happens here? Elimination of water takes place. If I connect two nucleic acids, okay, if I connect two nucleotides, it will form dinucleotide. If I connect three, it will form trinucleotide. If I connect four nucleotides, it will form tetranucleotide. Okay, so the way of connectivity, here the linkage is, okay, here the linkage is glycoside linkage is taking place between the, okay, third position and fifth position. The chain extension takes place at 3 to 5 linkage. This is I am saying. Okay, so what happens here? Elimination of water. By the elimination of water, it will form adenine. What is it? This is your first nucleotide, which is adenine monophosphate, and this is your, right? Here you have okay, what do you have here? This will become okay, here it will be, what is this? This is guanosine and this is okay, this is a dinucleotide. A dinucleotide of what is this? Adenine and guanine. This is how a polynucleotide chain is made. Suppose if you add to cytosine this, it will get added to the third position. Okay, this is your 5' end, this is your 3' end. Are you getting this? The linkage is taking place between the third position and fifth position. Okay, this is your first, second, third, fourth. Okay, this is your fifth position. Here also, this is fifth, this is fourth, this is third, this is second, this is first. Suppose if I add cytosine to this, it will get added at the third position, it will form cytosine. This is how it goes on continuing, thymine, adenine, guanine, cytosine, like this. This will form a polynucleotide chain. What it will form? A polynucleotide chain it will form. This is how the polynucleotide chain formation takes place. Okay, this is how your DNA, RNA will build up chemically. So what is mean by this? If you know the sequence of this nitrogen base pairs, you can write the chemical structure of the DNA or RNA. Let us see the structure of this DNA and RNA. Let us see the structure of DNA and RNA. Okay, so basically, if you are talking about the structure of DNA, if you are talking about the structure of, I hope it is clear how to form the nucleotide chain. Okay, if you are talking about either DNA or RNA, they are basically formed by polynucleotide chain. The repeating unit of this polynucleotide chain is a nucleotide. A nucleotide is basically made up of nucleoside plus phosphoric acid. Okay, when one nucleotide gets connected to the other nucleotide, which will form polynucleotide chain. Okay, the linkage will takes place. Okay, from two nucleotides will be connected from one other through 3' to 5' or 5' to 3'. Okay, if you are talking about the structure of DNA, if you are talking about, let us see the primary structure of DNA. Okay, we will discuss the primary structure as well as the secondary structure of DNA. If you are talking about the primary structure of DNA or any nucleic acid, either it may be RNA or it may be DNA. Okay, if you are talking about the primary structure, this primary structure simply tells us, okay, the primary structure gives the information information regarding it is similar to the primary structure of proteins regarding the sequence of nitrogen bases. It just tells us the sequence of nitrogen bases, how these nitrogen bases are being connected. Okay, the general way of representation of this primary structure of either DNA or RNA. Okay, because both are having the, if you are talking about the DNA will be double helical structure, RNA will be the single strand. Okay, so in order to represent this, first you have to take the sugar. Sugar will be basically connected to the base. Okay, which will be connected to what? Phosphate, and this phosphate again will be connected to the sugar. This sugar will be connected to the base. Okay, again phosphate. This is how the polynucleotide chain will be constructed. It goes on like this. So what are common here? Sugar and phosphate are common. Okay, what only changes? This nitrogen bases changes. For example, if here I take the sugar as adenine, so it will be connected to the phosphate. Again, this will be connected to the thymine. This will be connected to the phosphate. This is how the primary structure of either RNA or DNA can be determined. This will be the structure of let me take here guanine. This will be connected to the phosphate again. Okay, which will be connected to the sugar. It will assume that it is connected to this. Okay, this goes on like this. So what is the sequence of this nitrogen bases? Here the nitrogen base sequence is adenine, thymine, guanine, cytosine. Again it may be thymine, guanine, adenine, thymine, cytosine. It goes like this. Okay, the information regarding the sequence of nitrogen bases in either RNA or DNA will be called as primary structure. This primary structure tells us how the sequence is been made. What is the importance of this sequence? Basically, what is the main function of these nucleic acids? They will transform. They are responsible for the inheritance. Okay, the information needed for the building of a living organism and the maintenance of living organism, for the reproduction of living organism, everything lies in their DNA or RNA, nucleic acids, and the information will be very specific. This information will vary from one species to the other species and one individual to the other individual based on the sequence of amino acid, sequence of nitrogen bases present in the polynucleotide chains. Okay, so if this sequence changes, what happens? The specific character, okay, which is being regulated by this particular nucleotide will changes. Okay, suppose if the sequences get changes by any factor, due to the mutations or due to some other factor, what happens? What are the property or what are the physiological function which a particular gene is regulating, that entirely get changes. Okay, because of that reason this sequence of nitrogen bases will play very important role. Okay, so if you are talking about RNA, for RNA this basic structure will be enough since it is a single strand. Okay, if you in case of RNA, what you will get the species sequence, it will be adenine, guanine, uracil, okay, cytosine, okay, cytosine, guanine, adenine. Okay, it goes like this. This will be the primary structure of RNA. If you write in this manner, this will indicate the primary structure of RNA. In place of uracil, if you are using thymine, that will indicate the primary structure of what is this? Primary structure of DNA, it will indicate. Hope it is clear. Okay, if you are talking about this secondary structure, okay, basically we will discuss the secondary structure or three-dimensional structure for DNA only, because it is a double helical structure, whereas RNA is a single strand. Okay, we don't discuss about much about the RNA. Our prime importance will be the DNA only. Our prime importance discussion will be DNA only. Okay, now if you are talking about the double helical structure or secondary structure, or we call also three-dimensional structure of DNA. I hope you know that this 3D structure of DNA is being determined by two scientists collectively, that is Watson and Crick, for which they have been awarded with the Nobel Prize. Okay, so the secondary structure of DNA will be a double helical structure. Okay, DNA is a double helical structure as determined by Watson and Crick. Okay, these two strands, the two strands on the two strands of helix are complementary to each other, and end twisted to the right side, to the right hand side, and helix is held by hydrogen bonding between the complementary nitrogen bases. Okay, basically if you are talking about the structure of either DNA or RNA, the double helical structure of DNA will looks like this. Okay, basically here it will, if one strand is from 5' to 3' end, and other strand will be from 3' to 5' end. What is this 3' and 5' represents? Okay, this is how the linkage is being taking place between the nitrogen bases. This particular strand will contains elongation of polynucleotide chain from 5' end to the 3' end. 5th carbon of pentose sugar to 3rd carbon of pentose sugar, it is going on. It is from 3rd carbon of pentose sugar to 5th carbon of the pentose sugar. This is based on the numbering in the pentose sugars. And suppose if this particular, suppose it is having adenine, guanine, thymine, okay, cytosine, adenine, thymine, okay, guanine, cytosine, like this if it is having. The other chain will contain complementary bases. In DNA, if you are talking about the complementary base, in DNA, okay, adenine and thymine are complementary base pairs. Adenine and thymine, and adenine comma thymine and guanosine comma cytosine. This is a complementary base pair. This is also a complementary base pair. Okay, this complementary base pair, that is adenine and thymine complementary base pair, is having 2 hydrogen bonds. It will be held by 2 hydrogen bonds, and this guanine and cytosine will be having 3 hydrogen bonds. They can form 3 hydrogen bonds. That means guanine and cytosine are having 3 hydrogen bondings, and in adenine and thymine are having only 2 hydrogen bondings. This is how they are being connected. So if it is adenine, it has to be what? Thymine. These two will be connected by 2 hydrogen bondings like this. If it is guanine, it has to be cytosine. These two will be connected by 3 hydrogen bondings like this. If it is adenine, if it is thymine, it has to be adenine. This will be connected by 2 hydrogen bonds. Since it is a cytosine, it has to be guanine. So here they will be connected with 3 hydrogen bondings like this. If it is adenine, this has to be thymine, which will be connected by 2 hydrogen bondings like this. If it is thymine, this has to be adenine, okay, 2 hydrogen bondings. Again thymine, adenine, 2 hydrogen bondings. Guanine, cytosine means 3 hydrogen bondings like this. Cytosine means guanine, 3 hydrogen bondings. Thymine means adenine, like this. It looks like, okay, like a staircase. It looks like the staircase which is entisted towards the right side. and this helix will be held by the hydrogen bondings. These two strands are coiled towards the right side. These coils seen being maintained by the hydrogen bonds present between the complementary base pairs. What are the complementary base pairs? Adenine and thymine, guanine and cytosine. And adenine and thymine are held by 2 hydrogen bonds, and guanine and cytosine are held by 3 hydrogen bonds. Okay, and if you are talking about the diameter of this double helical structure, it is having a diameter of 20 angstroms. Okay, and each helix, okay, each turn will basically ranges 34 angstroms. Each turn, each folding or twisting or each coil will ranges around 34 angstrom of length, and which consists 10 base pairs. How many base pair it consists? 10 base pairs. That means what? An average, each helix or each turn of the helix basically consists 10 base pairs, and the distance between each 10 pair will be 3.4 angstroms. Okay, this is not important in terms of board point of view, but even though I am giving the information. So this is about the 3D structure of the DNA, which is being proposed by Watson and Crick. The important aspects of the 3D structure of DNA is that the DNA is basically made by, DNA is a double helical structure in which 2 polynucleotide chains are being entwisted around each other in a right hand side direction. Okay, these these 2 polynucleotide chains are complementary to each other. Complementary in the sense, if one chain will be quite exactly opposite to the other chain. Okay, because these 2 strands are being held by hydrogen bonding between the complementary base pairs. What are the complementary base pairs? Adenine and thymine, guanine and cytosine are complementary bases. Adenine and thymine are held by 2 hydrogen bondings, and guanine and cytosine are held by 3 hydrogen bondings. Okay, and the diameter of this double helical structure will be 20 angstroms, and each helix will contain 10 base pairs within the range of 34 angstroms. By that, the distance between each base pair will be approximately 3.4 angstroms. This is about the double helical structure of the DNA. And if you are talking about the structure of RNA, as I said, RNA is a single strand. Okay, so information regarding the primary structure of RNA will be enough. If you are talking about RNA, RNA is having a single strand structure. Okay, and there are mainly 3 types of RNA. Mainly 3 types of RNA. 3 types of RNAs. Okay, one will be called mRNA, which is also called as messenger RNA. What it is called? Messenger RNA. One will be called, okay, rRNA, ribosomal RNA. Ribosomal RNA. Other will be called tRNA. What is mean by tRNA? This is called transport RNA. What we call? Transport RNA. So the main function of DNA and RNA. Suppose in higher elements, DNA will be the main nucleic acids, and RNA will be the secondary nucleic acid. It does not responsible for the transformation of genetic information. In primitive animals, I think you might be knowing much about this. In biology, you might have studied that. RNA, if RNA is only present, then that will be the nucleic acid. Okay, in higher elements, basically DNA will be the nucleic acid. The main important function of this nucleic acids is that they will regulate everything about the living organisms. Okay, for their formation, the building, and their maintenance and reproduction, everything will be monitored by the nucleic acid. Basically, this mRNA will copy the information from the DNA, which is essential for the synthesis of amino acids. If a new body has to be formed, okay, it has to produce the proteins. In order to produce the proteins, what it has to be done? It has to go for the synthesis of amino acids. Those amino acids to be connected by one another through the polypeptide bonds. When a polypeptide bond is formed, it will behave as a protein. So for the manufacturing or growth or formation of any organism, protein synthesis is essential. This RNA will participate in the protein synthesis. The information regarding the protein synthesis will lies in the DNA. Thus information will be copied into the mRNA. This is we call translation. Okay, so This mRNA will take the required information from the DNA, okay, and that will be transferred to the rRNA. rRNA will be present on the ribosomes. This ribosomal RNA will do the function of protein synthesis. It will connect the amino acids according to the codes present on the mRNA, okay, which will lead to the protein synthesis, and the required amino acids for the protein synthesis will be carried by tRNA. Okay, basically the main role in human beings, if you are talking about the RNA will mainly participate in the protein synthesis. For the protein synthesis, it requires the information. The information will be copied from DNA in the form of mRNA. This mRNA consists the information. The information present on the mRNA will be decoded by rRNA, which will lead the protein synthesis, and the required amino acids are brought by the tRNA. This is a broad function of rRNA, tRNA, and mRNA. Okay, messenger, ribosomal, tRNA. Okay, transport RNA. Okay, this is about the functions of mRNA, rRNA, and tRNA. Okay, right. And if you are talking about the prime importance of this nucleic acids are responsible for the hereditary characteristics, and they'll maintain the protein synthesis and everything in the living organisms. And one more latest important aspect is that is DNA fingerprinting. What is mean by DNA fingerprinting? This is a latest science which is emerging very quickly. Okay, this DNA fingerprinting. Okay, similar to basically earlier we used to have, in order to identify the human beings, we go with the fingerprintings. Fingerprintings are very unique for individual to individual. So this in a similar manner, how the fingerprints are very unique for an individual person, the DNA sequence or the sequence of nitrogen bases in a DNA of a particular individual will be very unique as like our fingerprintings. So this decoding of this DNA fingerprinting will be useful for various aspects. This DNA fingerprinting technology will be used in identifying the criminals based on the, basically whenever there is a crime sequence, if the criminal leaves anything of his body, either any air or any saliva or a blood drop or a skin part, if the policeman gets anything out of it, by using that particular part of the body, they can identify, they can decode the DNA sequence, and if it matches with any particular known person, he will be found to the criminal. So in identifying the criminals and in determining the parents, okay, in so many modern cases, who is actually the parent of the child can be determined accurately by the DNA fingerprinting. Okay, so basically the DNA of a particular child will be similar to his parents only. So based on the matching both the DNA sequences, we can identify who is the parent. Okay, in treatment of the particular diseases which transform from one generation to the other generation, okay, there are several diseases which comes by inheritance. Okay, so by using this DNA fingerprinting technology, okay, by making changes in the DNA sequence and polynucleotide change, we can prevent so many inheritable diseases. So in several aspects, this DNA fingerprinting technology is being used. Okay, interpretation of polynucleotide chain, the nitrogen based sequence in a polynucleotide chain will be called as DNA fingerprinting. This DNA fingerprinting will be very unique for individual to individual, similar to our fingerprints. Even they are more accurate than the fingerprints. Okay, by using DNA fingerprinting technology, you can identify anything, okay, regarding a person. You can this DNA fingerprinting of one cell be similar to the other cell. If you determine the DNA fingerprinting of one cell of the body, that will be similar to all the cells present in the body. So if you get one cell of a particular individual, you can identify his DNA sequence, which can be matched to the entire body also. Based on that only, so many aspects we will determine. Suppose regarding what we call archaeology department, they will try to tell so much of information when they get a single part of any extinguished species. This might be having that much weight, that much color, the skin tone, everything can be determined by the DNA fingerprinting technology. Okay, so this makes the completion of discussion about the nucleic acids. Among the nucleic acids, what is the important aspect is that basically the composition of the nucleic acids is very important with what they are made. Nucleic acids are mainly made by pentose sugars, phosphoric acid and nitrogen bases. Among the pentose sugars, basically ribose sugars are present. In RNA, ribose sugar is present. In DNA, deoxyribose sugar is present. That is only the difference. Okay. When it comes to the nitrogen bases, basically these are of two types, purines and pyrimidines. Okay. Two member nitrogen base, two-member cyclic nitrogen base are called as purines, and one-membered nitrogen bases are called as pyrimidines. This adenine and guanine are called as purines. Thymine, cytosine, uracil are called as pyrimidines. Okay. Both adenine and guanosine are present in RNA and DNA, but when it comes to the pyrimidines, in DNA, what are present? Thymine and cytosine are present. In RNA, cytosine and uracil are present. Okay. So what are the complementary base pairs? Adenine and thymine are complementary base pairs which are held by 2 hydrogen bondings. Guanine and cytosine are complementary nitrogen base pairs which are held by 3 hydrogen bondings. Okay. And 3D structure of DNA also important. Under the 3D structure of DNA, it's a double helical structure. Both the strands of the helix are complementary to each other. They are end-twisted towards the right side. Okay. And these end-twistings are held by the hydrogen bond is present between the complementary base pairs. One strand will be the complement to the other strand. Okay. And when it comes to the RNA will be a single strand structure. There are 3 types of RNA. What is this? tRNA, rRNA, mRNA. They mainly participate in the protein synthesis of human beings. Okay. And DNA fingerprinting is the latest science which will helps in identifying the criminals or parents in various cases. Okay. That makes the completion of biomolecules. Thank you.